Been in stage 4 for about 4 days now, and I've not gone to the supermarket deliberately because I've not wanted to engage in panic buying, but I need to go there. I know I run a motorbike channel, but COVID-19 has affected every area of my life like everybody else's, so I'm going to talk about that. Tell you what's really weird, that it's really quiet in the supermarket. There's like things I noticed, like there used to be music in the background. There's none of that. Whenever I see an aeroplane in the air, it's like a weird thing now, and it's all changed so quickly. I don't know what to say, but we've been in this thing now for nearly 5 months. My YouTube channel isn't just about motovlogs. As I said, I can't motovlog at the moment, so I'm going to talk, and you don't have to listen. You can criticize as much as you like, but I'm entitled to my point of view because I am affected, like we all are affected. And these people that everybody defends, they fought to be in public office and they should be held to account. We pay them, and when we ask them questions, they should answer them. That's the right thing to do. And ultimately, I am about doing the right thing. Okay, I've done this vlog a couple of times. It's easy to pick apart the government strategy if that's what it is. And it's easy to pick apart Daniel Andrews. And I just want to say this, the thing that frustrates me the most out of the government's approach, a couple of things is the word unprecedented. So it's a word you can hide behind. Unprecedented means, you know, like it's first off, never been here before. That gets used a lot. It's a word you can use to escape accountability. That frustrates me because you can use that word unprecedented, you can just roll it out whenever you want. When it gets hard, you can talk about, well, it's unprecedented. So if you get the strategy wrong, you can say, well, it's unprecedented. So it's sort of a scapegoaty type word, but that's one thing I just want to... The other word I want to talk about is scrutiny. The reason why we have different parties is so decisions can be scrutinised. To go to a state of disaster means that Daniel Andrews' decisions really can't be scrutinised. And I watched a parliamentary sitting last night where the Health Minister for Victoria was sitting and she was asked questions and she didn't answer the questions. And here's the thing, right? So the division, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. So the division is this: you've got these people that think that, and I'm not saying I'm right, I'm not saying I'm wrong, I'm just giving you my opinion through my filter of life, okay? So this is through my mind into this camera, into your screen, right? That's all I'm giving you. And my filter is one is I live alone, for starters. So some of my personal circumstances, just to put this in context, so I live alone. I moved to this new apartment complex 3 days before we went into stage 3 lockdown. And I've been in here for 4.5, 5 months. And I've had a month out of here where I travelled for that three weeks. I went to Queensland, got in trouble for crossing the border illegally. Well, I thought it was legally. And then I've been back in lockdown. And I'm now currently in stage 4 lockdown where there's a curfew in Melbourne. So I can't go out after 8 p.m. And I live alone, so it's tough. Also, I have my dad who is at the last stages of vascular dementia who I can't see. So that's quite frustrating. It's hard to see my kids and it's hard to see my mum. And I have to cross a police barricade every single day to get to work. So it's frustrating. Also, you know, I'm a business owner. I'm also a risk taker. So, you know, in business, in life, I've taken lots of risks, particularly to get where I am. You know, financially, I've taken risks. And so I'm always going to be of the belief that we should take risks to get over this, not be conservative about it. I've never run and hid from anything in my life. So I'm giving you my viewpoint from that, I guess. But I understand that Daniel Andrews has a mass following. What's scary is that Daniel Andrews has this mass following and like people don't question him. And it's not that I want to be difficult, or it's not that I do believe in coronavirus, and I do believe that, you know, it's clearly an illness, a disease that is highly infectious and really does target people with pre-existing health conditions, particularly the elderly. I mean, that's the clear data. Let's talk about scrutiny. Scrutiny is where something gets to be challenged. Daniel Andrews isn't scrutinised. And I'll give you an example of that, of what's really, I think, upsets the Victorian people. And this is absolute arrogance, or he's lying or hiding behind something. The 30-year-old that died today I just want to know this. And I don't know why Daniel Andrews can't answer this simple question is, did he have any pre-existing health conditions? Like, was he, did he have brain cancer? Was he at the end stages of cancer? Did he then contract coronavirus? Was he a perfectly healthy 30-year-old that contracted coronavirus and then passed away? It's not that I'm not saying that coronavirus doesn't affect young people. I just want our Premier to be straight with the Victorian people, because what he has asked of us has been massive. He's shut down our businesses that we've built. We've all taken pay cuts. He hasn't. It's simple questions that people are asking that he doesn't give answers for. And I'll give you another example for the people that are pro. It's not that I'm against Daniel Andrews, I'm just frustrated with Daniel Andrews. Another example is this. It's the investigation into the hotel quarantine debacle. The judge that's investigating that has clearly said today in a statement that Daniel Andrews and any minister of the Victorian government should or has no reason not to answer questions, basic questions, regarding that debacle. She said that clearly, yet the ministers and Daniel Andrews refused to answer any basic questions about that debacle, which for me creates anxiety. Why does it create anxiety? Because Daniel Andrews is making decisions based on my livelihood, which are not just going to affect me. And people are such lemmings. They're just such followers, and I'm not a follower, so sorry. So I guess I make my own decisions based on my own research, and that's how I live my life. And we all have the right to do that. But at the moment, I can't do that because I'm having someone else make decisions for me. People say that you're being selfish. Danny, you're being selfish. Think of the elderly. You could spread it to the elderly. Okay, I don't want to hurt anyone. And like most, 99.99% of all Victorians have done the right thing. And you know what? I walked out my car today accidentally, didn't have a mask, and I went back and put it on. And, I try and social distance where I can. And, we all get caught out with not social distancing because it's not in our DNA to social distance. It's foreign to us. It's, human nature is to be social and to have contact. So my big alarm is that there's no scrutiny. Daniel Andrews won't answer to anybody. It's things like that with his press conferences, it's such a hard line. The police have more power. The police have more power. The police have more power. And I understand he wants to give them more power because, like everybody, nothing pisses me off when I hear about people having house parties and all this sort of thing and just, not doing the right thing when we're all suffering. Like, I'm wearing a mask and I'm social distancing, not because I'm scared of coronavirus. I'm doing it because I want to get through this and I want to get to the other side. But the problem is, what I hear about Daniel Andrews is he doesn't talk about the other side. He talks about the right now, and he talks about there's nothing after stage 4. He talks about that if this doesn't work, we've got nothing else. My question is simply this, and this is the question that he should answer about a solution, is in 5.5 weeks' time, if cases are still at 200 or 300, what happens then? Because I think, and I'm no bloody rocket scientist, that's for sure, but I don't think we're going to be rid of COVID. I think we're going to have flare-ups, and that's going to be the world we live in. No country has been able to control it, and when Victoria thought they had it under control, it just flared up. I don't want to blame him why that happened. It flared up, and I think that you'll see flare-ups in New South Wales, and Queensland can say, or Tasmania can say, we don't have any cases, we don't have any cases. Well, guess what? Reality isn't reality to keep your borders shut forever, guys. You're going to have to open your borders up. And eventually you're going to have New South Wales people come in, and Victorian people and Tasmanian people come in, and there will be infections. It's something we have to learn to live with. So I think that eventually we will move to more of a model where we learn to live with it. And we have to accept a level of death that comes with that, which is unfortunate. But I think that's more of a realistic strategy and a long-term strategy than this suppression eradication strategy, which is just ridiculous. Again, I'm no rocket scientist, but it clearly isn't working. Nearly 5 months now lockdown. Nearly 5 months. 5 weeks ago it was masks are ineffective, we don't need them. Now it's a game changer. Well, it wasn't a game changer because we've had more infections and more deaths than what we've ever had today. So sure, in a week or two, I think that numbers will be driven down. It's about the long game, and I don't know what the long game is. And for me, that's what the anxiety is about, is what is the long game? What does Christmas look like? Every time there's some infections, is Daniel Andrews going to get on, going to have a press conference and start threatening us again, and focus on the 0.0001% of people that are doing the wrong thing and forget about the 99.99% of people that are doing the right thing and threaten us with a stage 3 lockdown? Is that the power that the Premier has? And clearly he does. And for me, I don't feel that we're in a democratic society at all anymore. I feel it's communism at the moment, which is really, really scary. And I'm not sharing this because I want to be a drama queen, although some people would call me a drama queen. I'm sharing this because tonight, it's 9:15 and I can't leave this concrete bunker. No one I know has coronavirus, and I know a lot of people, and people that I know of that know people that have coronavirus have all recovered. I just get sick of hearing a new case of coronavirus like it's a death sentence when it's not. And I find it really frustrating. I just think that the government's policy, the debacle is this. You have coronavirus and you have the government's policy towards coronavirus. And the damage that I see is the government's policy to coronavirus, not coronavirus itself. And I know some people are straight away going to say, yeah, but it could have been much worse. And again, how do we know? Because you can never scrutinise anything that Daniel Andrews' government does. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. I'm just trying to, what's the end game? Because in 6 weeks' time, we get to week 4 or week 5 and the numbers aren't where they're supposed to be. Are we just going to say lockdown? I mean, it's not a sustainable policy. And my sentiment is that Victorians are getting more angrier. And what's crazy, this is just the craziest thing, is that we have Australia and this thing that we're all in it together. What if it's staying apart keeps us together? Staying apart keeps us alone. It does. Staying apart, not talking to him, is lonely. And particularly to the people that live alone like me, staying apart doesn't keep us together. That's a stupid logo. We're all in this together. That is another stupid logo because we're not. And this is how dumb that is. And I don't know why no one has the guts to say this, but how can we all be in this together as Australians? We're not. In fact, we're in it state by state. And in Victoria, we're actually in it town by town. They've put a ring of steel around Melbourne and the Mitchell Shire, and you can't leave that without going through a police checkpoint. I do it every day. So we're all in this together. It's all rubbish. It doesn't make sense to me. Again, listen, sorry, I don't have 7 degrees. I don't have a PhD. I'm just a normal Melbourne person that has built a business from scratch that just wants to question this strategy, which I think to this point is not working. I'm of the belief that the strategy should be, because people say to me, well, Danny, if you were Daniel Andrews, what would you do? Well, what I would do is I would have shut down the whole of Victoria, shut it all down. The reason I would have shut down the whole of Victoria is because if there's outbreaks in Geelong or Bendigo or Wodonga or Albury-Wodonga, are they then going to go to stage 4? I think shut it all down for 4 weeks, not 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and then open it up. It gives the government time to plan, and then we have to go back to some sort of normal life. Sorry, I don't get a payment. I'm not living off the government support. I'm running a business. So, I share from that point of view. And, like many small business owners, I've worked really hard to get where I've gotten. People are losing their jobs, taking pay cuts, and they're changing their kids' lives forever because of decisions that are being made from a guy that is clearly shooting from the hip. But it's unprecedented. Come on.